All right, hey you guys, it is TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with my review of School Live episode 12, Graduation. And I was really upset. I thought that maybe they were going to push back this episode until next week, but I'm happy that they actually did put it out today. And I have to say, before I even get started, I bawled like a fucking baby. It was so fucking sad. Like, this was like Anohana level sadness. But this episode was freaking awesome. And Miki did exactly, well, I mean, she didn't do exactly what I thought she was going to do. She was able to help her friends. She overcame her adversities with not being able to cope with Megu-nee dying, and she overcame all of that and was able to help her friends. And it was just so awe-inspiring because we all know that Miki was always the Yuki was always the happy-go-lucky one in the group. She made everybody happy even though they were in this horrible situation. She made living there fun and bearable, but she had to finally come to the realization that she can't just go on living like that, or her friends won't be there anymore, and then she'll really be all alone. So she finally overcame that, and she made it to the broadcasting room, and she gave this fantastic speech. I still don't quite understand, like, then in a way I guess I do. She gave this whole speech about like loving school, and she knows that all of her classmates love school, and that's probably why they're here, why they're all gathered here. But they need to learn how to let go, and they need to all go home because school is over for today. And it worked. I honestly, but then, like I said, I don't understand it, and I do. I guess it does make sense because it seems like they do have some type of memories. They remember things, which was why Megu-nee was like sitting at the desk when she had like Kurumi's blood dripping from her mouth, or how they always remembered to like come to the school, or even when they were like kicking the ball around or anything like that. I honestly do believe that they did still have some of their memories, even though they only act on impulse. They still remember things, like they remember things from before they turned. So that would explain why Yuki talking to them and telling them that they can go home, that school is over, that they left. I mean, it's still pretty far-fetched for me to believe that, but in this case where there's pretty much implying that the zombies do have memories and they have recollections of their past before they turned, before all this stuff happened, then it makes sense. So they all went home, which was pretty awesome. It saved everybody. It saved Miki. Miki was able to get to Kurumi to give her the medicine, and they also gave it to Taromaru'a because Taromaru'a is actually the one who saved saved Yuki. Because when Yuki got to the broadcasting room, there were zombies everywhere, and Taromaru'a came out of nowhere and was like taking out zombies left and right. I was like, yes, Taromaru'a, you're still fucking awesome, even though you're a zombie and you tried to kill Kurumi at one point. But he saved her, and he still had recollections of Yuki's hat because he used to always take it from her. So when he went at her, Yuki still knew that Taromaru'a was pretty much beyond saving, but she still wanted to save him anyways, and she put him in the cabinet while she was making her whole speech. So they were able to save Kurumi and Taromaru'a, which was so fucking awesome. I was so happy. Like, I literally like screamed at the top of my lungs like a little girl because I was so fucking happy that Taromaru'a was able to be saved and that Kurumi was able to be saved, because I was gonna call bullshit if Kurumi died, because Kurumi is fucking awesome and they probably wouldn't even be where they were if it wasn't for Kurumi. But it always seems to be like the really strong ones, the awesome ones, are the ones that die in situations like this, which sucks, and then it screws everybody else over because everybody else really can't defend themselves. But I'm so happy that Kurumi made it, because Kurumi is my favorite character. So, I mean, I was ecstatic that she was okay, and it looks like she is going to be okay. Now, if it's something like in Maze Runner, where it only lasts, like the serum only lasts a little while, then that would freaking suck, and that would mean that Kurumi would pretty much have to live on that medicine for the rest of her life, which I really hope isn't the case. I hope that because they caught it so soon that she will be able to be okay. I'm hoping. So after all of that, Taromaru'a. because they gave the vaccine to Taromaru'a, he did recover to his previous state of like being aware, like how Kurumi is, like she was healed, well, she was cured from it, but he was too far gone, and it really fucking sucks. It makes me so freaking sad because he looked like he was in so much pain, and they even said that they think that he was too far gone and that he might not make it. And I was really hoping that he was going to, because he was eating and then he like drank the water out of Miki's hand, and it was just, he was so grateful to Miki. Even though Miki had yelled at him, he was the one who led Yuki, Yuri, and Kurumi to Miki. If it hadn't been for Taromaru'a, they would have never found Miki, and Miki probably would have died in that room by now. So Taromaru'a is really the one who saved Miki because he led them to her. So the fact that Miki was able to save Taromaru'a in the end was pretty fucking awesome, and it made me so happy. But I'm so fucking sad that he did still die. Spoiler alert. But yeah, in the end, he still ended up dying. He was too far gone, and his injuries were too severe for him to survive from that. So Taromaru'a died, and I bawled. Like, it was so, like, I couldn't control it. It was just, tears were streaming down my face. I was crying so hard when Taromaru'a died, and everybody was crying, but Miki was trying to stay strong. And then when they buried him and they put his collar on his cross, like how Yuki took her ribbon off and replaced Megu-nee's ribbon on her cross, and they prayed for him. It was so fucking sad. And then Miki finally let out all of her emotions, because she holds in her emotions a lot, and I completely understand how she feels. I'm pretty much the same way. I've gotten more in tune with my emotions as I've gotten older, but most of the time, if I don't have to, I won't let them out, which is really bad. I will admit that it is really bad. But she finally let out all of that sadness that she had been holding in, like losing Kei, and then now losing Taromaru'a, the one thing that saved her. Even after all that work that she did, she still wasn't really able to save him. She saved him from being a zombie, and he died at peace, and he was so happy. He looked at her, and you could tell, like, that look that he gave her said, thank you for saving me, thank you for bringing me back to the way I was, so that way I can pass peacefully. And it's so freaking sad. I had no clue when I first watched this show that it was gonna be so freaking intense, but this episode was freaking amazing. So they finally put Taromaru'a to rest, and then they had their graduation. So they graduated from the school, and they went through the whole ceremony and everything. Like, Yuki spoke and Miki spoke, and then they got their diplomas and all that good stuff. And it was just freaking sad, because Megu-nee, I think she knew at one point that maybe she might not be there. So she had a map, and she put locations that they could go to just in case they ever had to leave the school. So Megu-nee was on top of her shit. She was able to help them even after she passed away, which is freaking awesome, because Megu-nee was amazing. She was an amazing person and an amazing teacher. And I'm happy that they did show what she said to Yuki, like when it showed her like mouthing something. And I was like, what the fuck did she just say? But she said that she said I'm very grateful that I got to be your teacher, which brought Yuki back to her senses. And she was able to let Megu-nee go, because she knows that Megu-nee would have done anything for her and did do everything to help them. So she was able to finally let her go and move on with her life. And they were finally able to let Taromaru'a go and move on with their life. But now that the school is messed up, they're not going to be able to live there anymore. And I even mentioned that a couple videos ago when I said that I think at one point they're not going to be able to stay at the school anymore. And it came to pass when the zombies destroyed the electricity and the food and all that good stuff. So they have to go through all the perishable food before it does expire. So that way when they leave, they can have all of the like non-perishable stuff that they can carry. And at one point, Yuki showed, like, it was like a package, it looks like bologna, like a package of bologna, but it had like teeth marks on it, and the teeth marks were way too small for it to be Taromaru. So they devised that it was actually another dog, and that was the reason why Taromaru would run out at night and why he went down into the basement. Even though it was extremely dangerous, he went down there to check on that dog. So there is another dog that lives in the school that was friends with Taromaru, that Taromaru was trying to help, but in the end Taromaru ended up getting killed because he was trying to help it, which really freaking sucks. And it makes me sad because at the very end, after all the credits and everything, they show the little dog at Taromaru's grave. I don't know if he dug him up or what, because Yuki's hat was outside of the grave, but I think that he did dig Taromaru up. So I mean, that's kind of morbid, but it's neither here nor there. I feel really bad for the puppy because I think Taromaru was in a way taking care of it. So there was another dog that was living in the school this whole time and we didn't even know about it. Then at the very end, I was really hoping that they would not show this, but they did show her when they were leaving the school, when they were in Megu-nee's car and they were driving out of the gates. Kei was walking towards the school, and I know that it was her because of the way that Miki responded when she saw her. You could tell by the way her hair is done. Like, even though they didn't show her face, I know that it was Kei. We all know that it was Kei. And it was really freaking sad because I was really hoping that they wouldn't show her like that. I was hoping that maybe she made it, and the reason that she left, she was able to be okay. She was able to make it to wherever it is that she was trying to go, even though she left Miki. Even though if she had stayed with Miki, she probably would have been alive with her today. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But this episode, just the feels. I really, really want them to make a second season, like just to see where they go in their story, like what happens to them when they go to the college, or maybe they'll get to the college and they have to end up going to the corporation and all that good stuff. I really want them to make a second season because I really want to find out what happens to them after this point, because I mean, we went through this whole journey with them, like them losing Megu-nee, losing Taromaru, almost losing Kurumi, and Yuki actually coming back to reality and helping all of them be able to be okay and make it out of the school safely without having to worry about being attacked by zombies or anything like that. So I would love to see what happens after this point, after they have already left the school and they've finally been able to leave all of those bad memories behind, and all of the good ones too. So I really want them to make a second season. If anybody who is watching this has any control over that, please make a second season, because I would really love to see what happens to them after this point. But also, there was one last thing that I noticed at the very end. After the credits, they showed it looked like a woman, and she picked up Yuki, like when they had all sent off their letters and things on the balloons. It was Yuki's picture of like Yuki, Kurumi, Yuri, Miki, and I think Megu-nee was in the picture. I don't remember, and Taromaru might have been in the picture. I can't remember, but somebody picked up her picture. So I feel like that might be a gateway to a second season. I really hope it is, because that'd be pretty freaking awesome. But this show has been a journey. Like, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, like going from happy-go-lucky to sad to like what the fuck just happened to bawling my eyes out to being happy again. I feel so emotional watching this show, but this show was freaking amazing and I loved watching it. I'm so happy that I did decide to sit down and watch this show when I did, and I'm happy that you guys were able to go along on this journey with me, and I'm happy that you guys actually trusted me to watch this show, because I know that quite a few people didn't even know that this show existed. So I know I've been rambling for like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna try to wrap this video up. But I would love to hear how you guys felt about this episode. How do you feel about this finale to this amazing show? How do you feel about the show as a whole? Do you think the show was worth watching? And do you think that there might be a possibility that there will be a second season? If so, just comment it down below. I would love to hear from you guys. So yeah, so as always, please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.